Hello and welcome to Pearl Magazine. Tonight we take a look at Hong Kongers' reading habits, which appear to be increasing over the last year, whether it's through digital platforms or actual books. Reporter April Zhou visits a bookshop as well as an electronic publishing company, who are both doing their best to raise reading levels in the city and among the young.
Hello， 你好啊，捐書啊，係你好。咁我哋先睇睇啲書先咁樣，係啦。咁其實大部分嘅書咧，只要係七成新咧，咁我哋全部都收咁樣嘅。
These books have just found a new home at this charity bookstore in San Po Kong. All of the books sold here have been donated. Founder Cynthia Lau says they have a formula for pricing their books.
Well, in general, we will price the book at 1/3 of their original price, and we will use this color code system.
The color coding system makes it easy for customers to work out the price of each book.
So, if the book, the original price is $30, then it will be $10, and we will give them a blue dog. And if it's $62, we will round down and we will sell them at $20, and we will give them red dogs. So you can see, for this book, a red dog, then this is $20.
Over the past 12 years, Cynthia has received roughly 200,000 books. Books of all genres have filled this 1,500-square-foot shop, which she aptly named Read Cycling.
I'm just trying to reshuffle the bookshelves because I just found out we have a lot of different versions of Chinese classics like Journey to the West, and I want to make the best use of the shelves because we have limited space.
These volunteers are sorting and tagging the books.
Here we will give the book a stamp to commemorate the year that we received the book, and we want people to, if they redonate the book to us after reading it, we will be very happy to stamp another stamp to make everyone knows this is the book that have been donated to us twice.
Cynthia says they don't accept textbooks, religious books, or anything easily outdated, like tourist guides, as well as those with extensive highlighting or notes in them.
I would say this is a world trend that the number of readers are going down. This is really the reason why we have to be here. We want to promote reading. We want to introduce one more ways of spending their leisure time.
A study from the University of Sussex in 2009 found that reading can reduce stress by up to 68%. It works better and faster than other activities, such as listening to music or taking a walk. The Hong Kong Publishing Professional Society has been conducting a yearly survey of people's reading habits and found that between 2016 to 2020, more than 30% of people didn't read any printed books. Of that 30%, over 60% read digital literature, while the rest didn't read anything at all.
I guess they don't read because they don't have such a habit. They may think that reading is necessary during school time, but when they go to work, they will be very busy, and there's a competition of time among other entertainment. Comparatively, reading is more demanding. So they will think that reading is quite tiring or boring.
But the pandemic has changed this. The latest statistics show an additional 4.5% of people read print books in the last year. Despite this, a number of booksellers were still forced to shut down due to lack of business. Some turned to digital platforms. This bookshop company is over 100 years old. They currently have 41 stores. In 2000, they launched their online shop, which was revamped in 2020 to cater to the boom in online shopping and entertainment.
We have around 200,000 different titles in our online bookstores, whereas in our physical bookstores, such as this entirely new flagship shop, will carry only around 50,000 titles.
Despite online sales contributing to rapid growth, with book sales tripling between 2019 to 2020, most of their revenue still comes from their brick-and-mortar shops.
The physical bookstores is a place where people meet books, and we believe in order to provide a better shopping environment, a good collections of titles, and also with those physical activities such as the face-to-face book signing activities and also those cultural talks within the bookstores would be a significant difference between the online bookstores and the physical bookstores.
Recommended books specially picked by staff are displayed to attract readers.
This time we have introduced some timeless classics to the readers, and such as this, The Art of Living, which is a renewed, translated version of timeless classics. And so we believe in the time of pandemic, the people are looking for something more and more for about their soul or their inner heart.
I often read about psychology and success science. I'm used to reading print books. I won't read ebooks for the moment because I don't know how to use it.
If I just read for relaxation, I read print books. If it's for work, because I work with a computer, so I will mostly search ebooks to read.
I think ebooks are very convenient, like you can read it even when taking transportation.
Electronic reading is more common now from different aspects. For example, the hardware, the software are getting improvements. And the other important reason is that more players in our industry would like to have some more electronic books than before, because in the past we hesitate to do so because we're not very sure we can get some income from doing electronic books.
E-books still face obstacles in the publishing industry.
We have to persuade our authors they should be willing to give our licensing to have the e-books versions. And the second one is the cost of producing e-books. We do not have the skills yet, so we have to collaborate with some developers to make books into the EPUB versions. So the publisher should concern some cost. And the third point is maybe the rights management. Authors and the publisher will be afraid that our copyright will be infringed if we put them into the electronic version.
Edward Wong, senior manager of an electronic publishing group, agrees with Janice.
In recent years, the major ebook platforms have gradually screened out PDF format, while EPUB format becomes the new fashion. The left one is the original PDF version, while the right one is what I said, EPUB format. The main function is that if it's presented on a tablet or mobile, it provides a better reading experience. You can adjust font size, change horizontal lines to vertical, choose simplified or traditional Chinese characters, also adjust the tracking and leading.
Edward says 90% of the ebooks his team has produced have been created in this EPUB format. There has been a sharp increase in both users and sales. The ebook mobile app they developed and launched in 2019 already has 60,000 readers, with 50,000 registered users. And they also make audiobooks.
After we get the license of a book, it will be made into an audiobook through content editing, audio recording, and post-editing. We also have to consider if one book is suitable to be made into an audiobook, like if it's narrative or with intense structure. The Hong Kong market welcomes more functional books, such as applying for disciplined services, wine tasting, or gardening.
Despite the emergence of ebooks in recent years, Edward says print books still outsell ebooks. The sales of ebooks in Hong Kong is estimated to be under 5% of the sales of print books.
90% rivals of print books are not ebooks. Instead are online videos, mobile games, or other resources on the internet. Ebooks help add to our reading population. Many ebook readers will buy and collect the print version of that book they really like. So ebook and print book should be complementary and not rivalry.
Sticking to the print book format in this digitized world, Cynthia also agrees that reading should not be limited by the format.
I think be it paper version or digital version, as long as they are books, it will bring you happiness. This is a very important time for you to form an opinion about yourself. This is the stage that will be trying to question yourself, who I am and where I should be heading to. So by reading more books, I think it will help them to broaden their horizons, to stretch their imagination, to shape their worldview.
Cynthia is giving away these books, not just to give them a second life, but also in the hopes of bringing happiness to others, the same joy she gets from reading a good book. Schools and NGOs are welcome to pick them up.
Choose as many books as they want, as many times as they wish. So it's literally no limit. It's not uncommon to see that the schools or NGOs come time after time. So this is the most rewarding things that we can ever expect.
When we return, a look at how some schools are encouraging parents to read with their children and make reading a positive experience. Stay with us. Welcome back to Pearl Magazine. Reading isn't just a pleasure, it's also how we learn things. Whether from school books, biographies, or fiction, a book always has something to teach the reader. Experts say reading is a matter of habit, and it's essential to cultivate reading habits from childhood. April Jo talks to those in education about how reading is an important habit to foster in order to gain not just knowledge, but pleasure. Today, these teachers from a primary school in Tuen Mun are at Cynthia's shop to pick up a few books for their students.
We are here to choose books for primary 1 to 6 students. We will select books that interest them, preferably with lots of pictures, so that they will enjoy reading them.
Over in Tai Po, a book bag library has been set up at this primary school. It's been donated by a charity which advocates family literacy. The charity's executive director, Pia Wong, says a total of 220 books in 65 bags are provided here. Each bag has a different mix of 4 English and Chinese storybooks.
Be exposed to maybe books that they may not otherwise be familiar with, and because it's different languages, also good to encourage language acquisition. For example, this Hooray for Fish by Lucy Cousins, great, vibrant, colourful story, and at the same time, with this fun one, we also have really heartwarming story, very rich, very culturally relevant, obviously for the local kids. Each of these bags it's like a little treasure inside that the parents and the kids can enjoy together and they can read at home.
Other than books, the charity also provides reading workshops for the kids. This morning, 25 primary 2 students gather in the school library, waiting for Pia's book reading. Today, she starts with an English story.
Dinosaur? Okay, that's kind of old, from the olden times, but they still have these things today. Alligator. Yeah, alligator. Because, what's his name? Can you see his name? Alan. Alan. And Alan starts with A.
Pia is reading a story about an alligator, a normally scary creature who has a soft side after the sun sets.
It's actually a very funny book, but at the same time, it's very heartwarming. It's about friendships, it's about identity. Who are you really underneath it all, and what's important? And once it's been discovered, what kind of opportunities arise? Can you do? And he said things like, I'm big, scary, Alan, that's right. Reading aloud great picture books really helps sort of develop not just the imagination and stimulate all of that.
She says this way the emotions and feelings of the story are more vivid.
For example, this alligator story, I think people can relate to your persona on the outside versus what you feel inside when you're at home at night and no one is watching and looking. How are you really? What makes you you? Things like this, incredible benefits that, picture books have so much value. It's so rich and layered.
I want it to be in our library. Okay, you try to find it and put it in our library so you can...
Yay!
The children are then split into smaller groups where parents, volunteers, and the kids do more interactive reading.
I think the parental support for reading is not too enough for our kids. So that's why we would like to invite more parents, train them, and help them to see the importance of reading aloud to kids.
School principal Yuki Lee says the school also values every chance to introduce English reading resources into their library. Reopened in the 2019-2020 academic year, the library has been used to launch a variety of school activities. English authors were invited to do book readings and share their ideas, while students would role-play characters from the storybooks, as well as encouraged to create their own books based on what they had read.
I think actually the library should be more accessible, open up more on the floor which everyone can reach, and spacious enough, have cozy environment. This is what I really want our school library plays those parts. That everyone would love to come to this venue and enjoy staying with someone they love or doing some activities they like in here.
Our apartment in Hong Kong is so small. We don't have enough space for us to buy a lot of books. That's why libraries, especially school libraries, plays a very important role for students to have more opportunities to read books. Have they been doing good? To me, yes. Students reported that they quite frequently went to school libraries to read. On the other hand, according to our observation, recently, schools put a lot of effort, a lot of resources on the hardware of library.
Dr. Lam Wai Ip is one of the researchers of the Hong Kong section of Progress in International Reading Literacy Study, or PEARLS. PEARLS is recognized as the global standard for assessing trends in students' reading achievement at the 4th grade. This is the age when children transition from learning to read to reading to learn. The latest study in 2016 shows Hong Kong students stand out in reading literacy, ranking 3rd among the 50 participating countries and regions, including Singapore, Australia, the US, and Russia. However, in terms of reading attitude, Lam says Hong Kong students were ranked lower than the average level.
The reason behind may be due to the motivation. Motivations can be divided into 2 categories. One we call intrinsic or internal motivation. That means a student like to read because they enjoy reading. On the contrary, on the other hand, there is external motivation or extrinsic motivation. That means students read because teachers or parents ask them to do so, or students want to please parents and they think it is beneficial for them.
Lam suggests that parents not pressure children with a long list of books to read. Instead, they should set good examples for their kids.
We parents have not been doing good in setting up role model for our students to form reading habits. In 2016, only 17% of parents reported that they liked reading. And those parents, they reported that they liked reading, their children performed better.
But how do parents who don't enjoy reading encourage their kids to read? This workshop is designed to motivate parents to read with their kids, promoting overall family literacy.
A lot of parents talk about, yes, reading is important. Yeah, I know. But somehow, if they lack of skills, they may not be able to achieve it. They may feel frustrated. So that's why you need to attend class, so the trainer or the coach will be able to give you a lot of insights and transfer some good technique or skills.
Percy says some books are suitable for reading to children and that story-based books are better when there's interaction.
So for example, this book, you see, I used a Post-it to cover actually many words. What I demonstrated to parents, I forget about the words. Looking at the picture, use the picture as a pointer to share stories. You engage into a lot of conversation to pause and prompt and let your child to think about what's going to happen next. And if you are not someone being sort of like being skillful to tell a story, it's okay because the picture will help you and the picture will also help kids to have a lot of fun. When the whole situation becomes relaxed and it will go on and it will continue.
In the past, usually I told stories and he listened to me. But after I had the training, it's changed. He tried to tell stories to me. Although he uses very simple words, it makes efforts. I think it's a good try for him, also a brand new feeling to me.
The parent and child reading, basically it's a way for them to help students to learn in a very relaxed and in a very pleasant way. Other than learning, other than reading, today's workshop, one parent is also talking about emotions and is also talking about some family values. Through the course of parent-child reading, you're able to have a lot of interaction and a lot of the conversation with the child is actually activate the brain.
As parents read with their children, the joy of a good story is appreciated by both parties. Learning takes place and family bonds strengthen. A good book is worth far more than just its story. That's the show. Thanks for watching. Next week, we take a look at the colorful life and career of Hong Kong DJ Ray Cordero. See you then. Good night.